during the light of day to the sky. We don't see the stars yet. We know that they're there. And we have to wait till the cover of night until their magic is revealed. It's a really beautiful idea. It's funny and it's ironic because love can kind of be like this, unseen, but knowing with the heart that it's there. So we walk on, not seeing but believing, looking for love. We cross snow and oceans. We step over cement jungles and ancient rock beds. We tread on hearts and we have our own treaded upon. And we began this walk alone. But if we're lucky enough, we cross paths with love and then we get to walk together.
Riding nowhere, spending someone's hard-earned pay. You and me Sunday driving, not arriving on our way back home. Run away home, run away home. We're going home.
In the fall of 2007, I set out from Minnesota, my home, to walk across great parts of our country. And in doing so, I was searching and looking for something. Funny thing is, it only took me about 4 or 5 months to figure out what it was I was looking for. But I had to wait another 5 years before I would find her. So much like the stars on a bright blue sky, you don't see them with your eyes during the day, but you know they're there with your heart. The day was March 15th, 2008. It was 5 years, 4 months, and 28 days before I had met Kat. It was a very cold March evening, and I was walking back home from work. It was about 5 miles outside of Fairbanks is where my cabin was, and that's where I was living. So I had about a 5-mile walk, and I was about halfway through it when this amazing thing happened. Orion was up in the sky, full draw and full view. It was a beautiful, crisp, clear night. I had chosen to live in this particular spot over the winter for the sole purpose of seeing the aurora borealis and experiencing it, dancing with it possibly. I remember feeling amiss and kind of misplaced at this time. I remember the cold kind of reminiscent of my feeling at the time, that March cold. I remember the layers of frost were piling up on my face mask as I was walking and breathing heavy. I was about halfway home on my 5-mile trek when I remember hearing a train whistle lonely in the distant background, and I just stopped on the trail where I was. I craned my neck up to the stars, and there it was, as natural as my breathing, as if it had always been there. The Northern Lights, swirling green and yellow ribbons, magic. It was breathtaking, and it was amazing. I dropped to my knees and threw off my face mask and breathed in the cold air. I heard the train coming up faster and quicker and louder behind me as my rhythmic as my breathing, and I just started to weep and sob. It's totally moving and completely unexpected. It was truly amazing. Tears freezing to my face. I knew then and there instantly that what I thought I'd been looking for was appearing before me, but I wasn't feeling it fully. Couldn't absorb it completely. I think that's part of the reason why I was crying. I felt incomplete with this moment and realized that there's something that I was missing wasn't from within me, it was without me. It was something outside of me that I was missing. Moments like that aren't fully realized until you share it with somebody else. And then it comes into completeness. Then on August 11th, 2013, 5 years, 4 months, 28 days after my moment in Alaska with the Northern Lights, I had a very special date, a very different date, a very special date with Kat. We had met and been chatting online, Match.com, and we decided to meet up. So I'd never talked to her in person, only emails, and they were wonderful. The thing about this date was different is that she was beautiful and funny, a deadly combination. And I remember driving to the date and listening to a voicemail that she had left me because I was too nervous to pick the phone up and actually talk to her. And I remember hearing her voice and thinking, something just hit me, something in her voice was, resonated, it was beautiful. Oh, thank you. And I remember thinking she was different. And I remember calling my mom and saying, Mom, I know this sounds funny. Feels like she's the one. It's weird to say. It's weird to say now, thinking, having, not really knowing. I remember the exact moment when I saw Kat. Long, blonde hair bouncing in the wind, walking fiercely with purpose and what I now call trajectory. And now to this day, we use these words trajectory and comet in everyday life, where I'm the comet, the one with the fiery passion, and Kat's the trajectory of the comet, the one that's projecting us in the right direction to be the best we can be in our lives together. She was a stunning, stunning sight, to say the least. We walked and we talked and we sat. We held hands. We hold hands the same way now. We learned that she grew up in a northern Minnesota town that my family had a small cabin in, and that we went to, I basically grew up in, taking family trips and hunting trips my whole life in the same town. Talked more. If that wasn't weird enough, we learned that she worked at the grocery store that we would go to every time we went up there. And we knew that we'd seen each other from when we were very little kids through elementary school to high school. Definitely seen each other many, many times in our life. And that was incredible, just incredible connection that we have been looking at the same night sky our whole lives. So we found ourselves that night, the last moments of the date, the St. Paul Cathedral, the grass, giggling and laughing, unbridled by what it meant to be normal, just being us, just children bathed in magic is what it felt like together. And that's when I kissed her. We fell in love. I didn't need to walk any further. We looked up at the stars. We felt the stars. We were part of the stars. It felt like the stars were full for us. And that's our story. The rest to say is history. Now, married almost 4 years. We have a wonderful daughter, 3 years old. Her name is Ever. You've been looking at her in my backpack. Hi, Ev. Last June 21st, 2018, we had planned a trip, our first big family adventure together to Iceland. And we were so excited to go for the people, the night sky, the landscape, everything. We had a really terrible family life thing happen that really set us back, and we had to cancel the trip. We were really bummed. So when we heard about this contest, we knew we had to enter and see if we could win and get our family to Iceland finally. So that's it. Thanks so much for listening, and I hope that you enjoyed our story about the stars and about our walk to get there. Thanks. Bye.
Did you see that shooting star tonight? Were you dazzled by the same constellation? Did you and Jupiter conspire to get me? I think you and the moon and Neptune got it right.